sign of something.
Oh, shit. And look to the right a little bit. There's a blue one developing. See it?
That's a sign of something.
Oh, that is crazy.
In August 2019, scientists in Romania introduced a real-life flying saucer that amazed the world. This craft could fly in any direction, travel at high speeds, and perform tricky maneuvers, looking like something from a science fiction movie. However, the creators had a different goal than space exploration in mind. The disc, named the All Directions Flying Object, DEFO, was designed by engineer Razvan C.B. and aerodynamicist Teo Velas, both from Romania. Razvan had a strong background, having worked as a senior scientist at Romania's National Institute for Aerospace Research, and is now the head of theoretical aerodynamics at the National Aviation Institute. The DEFO took over 20 years to build, with the aerodynamics requiring hundreds of pages of calculations, all checked through computer simulations and wind tunnel tests. When TechWorld uploaded a video of the craft to YouTube, the creators explained that the inspiration behind it wasn't to copy UFOs, but was instead inspired by natural designs. Interestingly, UFO sightings have been reported for centuries. In ancient Egypt, a pharaoh mentioned seeing fiery discs in the sky. Throughout history, from ancient Rome to Japan and the United States, people have reported similar sightings. During World War II, many pilots said they saw glowing, circular objects in the sky. The term flying saucer was first used in 1947 by Kenneth Arnold, who saw 9 crescent-shaped crafts flying at incredible speeds. He compared them to saucers skipping on water, and that's where the term flying saucer came from. The famous Roswell incident added to the UFO stories. At first, the military said it was just a weather balloon, but people didn't believe them. Later, the military admitted it was part of a secret project called Project Mogul, meant to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Although most UFO sightings can be explained, the DEFO's flying saucer-like shape serves a real purpose. It's designed like an airfoil, similar to a dolphin's fin, helping the craft move smoothly through the air at supersonic speeds. This shape also reduces shock waves, making it more efficient. The DFO could have military uses, like being an unmanned combat drone or a stealth fighter. It could also be used for espionage, moving quietly at high speeds. With the right changes, it could even carry a pilot. In 2017, the U.S. Navy got a patent for a craft that could do many of the things the DEFO can do, though it's unclear if it's been built or tested. Romanian scientists have definitely caught the world's attention with their flying saucer. If the craft gets built and the U.S. military shows interest, we may see these crafts flying in the sky soon. Before long, we might not be talking about UFO sightings, but DEFO sightings. Now let's turn our attention to the Pentagon. The Pentagon UFO footage was never meant for public viewing, but now someone within the U.S. government has accidentally leaked it. It has become the biggest scandal in NASA history, and I am here to explain every detail. Folks, please switch to incognito mode, because I'm about to reveal information the government wishes to keep secret. They have been caught red-handed, and this time they cannot talk their way out of it. Officially, the Pentagon released 3 videos of what they call unidentified aerial phenomena. But let's not kid ourselves. We know what they are. They are UFOs, and the government has hidden this fact for years, and I, for one, refuse to accept their flimsy excuses. These videos were never supposed to be public. They were leaked by an insider, a brave whistleblower who could no longer stand the lies. And what do these videos reveal, you ask? They show strange flying objects moving at impossible speeds, darting across the sky as if mocking our limited grasp of physics. The military's infrared cameras captured them, and the pilots' reactions are priceless. You can hear their astonishment as they marvel at the speed of these objects. One individual suggested that perhaps it was just a drone. Bless his heart, but we all know better. I know better, and if you have been paying attention, you should know better too. Last year, the Navy admitted the footage was genuine, and now the Pentagon is pretending to release it on its own terms, as if doing us a favor. Their official explanation is that they wish to clear up any misunderstandings about the footage's authenticity. Classic misdirection, if you ask me. They are hoping that we will be so impressed by their generosity that we won't ask the crucial question. What else are they concealing? I have been posing these questions for years, and I won't stop now. More and more people continue to echo the same story and reporting, something you have also confirmed yourself. I have multiple sources, including ones who came forward after my report. This is neither circular reporting nor mere folklore. The Pentagon is clearly hiding something. Sue Goff, a Pentagon spokesperson, said the videos do not reveal any sensitive military capabilities. Translation: they are only showing us what does not make them look completely incompetent. She also claims that this does not interfere with ongoing investigations into unidentified aerial incursions. That is government talk for. We are still figuring out how to explain this without admitting that we have known about these things for decades. How can you be sure these were not our aircraft? These objects remained completely stationary amid Category 4 hurricane winds. I have no explanation for that. And to be honest, I am convinced that they have known far more than they will ever admit. And here is where it becomes even more intriguing. The Navy has established brand new guidelines for pilots on how to report UFOs. Let me explain. Pilots have been encountering these objects so frequently that the military had to develop an entire system to document them. This is not a one-off incident. It is a constant occurrence, and I am deeply concerned that no one is demanding genuine answers. The videos first surfaced thanks to an organization called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. Sounds harmless, right? Just some researchers with a passion for the unknown. Buckle up, because this organization was co-founded by none other than Tom DeLonge, the Blink 182 guy. If a rock star is the one dragging the truth out of the Pentagon, it tells you we are in deep trouble. What does it say about our government when a punk musician has better information than the country's leaders? And if you believe this is all just a bunch of grainy, unconvincing footage, let me introduce you to David Fravor, and he witnessed one of these objects up close in 2017. He described an encounter that sends shivers down your spine. He was flying his jet, minding his own business, when he noticed one of these objects. It wasn't merely hovering or drifting like a balloon. He attempted to get closer, but the object shot off like a bullet, disappearing in less than 2 seconds. You heard correctly. A craft that moved like a ping-pong ball ricocheting off a wall. Our best technology cannot replicate that. Nothing in our arsenal is capable of that feat. The most shocking part is that the incident was never investigated. None of my crew were questioned. No tapes were taken, and within a few days, it became just a great story among friends. So, what exactly did Fravor witness? And more importantly, why is the government doing nothing about it? Because if I saw something like that, you can be sure I would demand real answers. Oh, but they have been taking action. They have been investigating this behind closed doors for years, pouring money into a classified program that they never wanted us to know about. It was called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and it ran from 2006 to 2012. According to them, it was shut down because higher priorities emerged. That is government double talk for, we couldn't keep justifying spending money on this when people started asking questions. But we know better. I know better. The program did not end. It merely went deeper underground. Luis Elizondo, the former head of this program, asserts that there is compelling evidence that we are not alone. Let me reiterate. A man who worked for the Department of Defense casually admitted that we may not be the only intelligent beings in the universe. And what do? Do we shrug and move on? Certainly not. This is the smoking gun we have been waiting for. Elizondo even resigned from the Pentagon in 2017 in protest because they refuse to take this matter seriously. That tells you everything, and I, for one, am not surprised in the slightest. Even former Senator Harry Reid, who helped launch this program, said that these videos are just the tip of the iceberg. He tweeted that the available research and materials far exceed what has been shown to the public. That means there is much more, locked away in some classified vault where the American people will never see it. Congress is still probing, trying to obtain answers. Last summer, senators received a classified briefing about these unidentified aircraft. That is right, classified. If these were merely harmless weather balloons or some experimental aircraft from another country, why would top lawmakers require a secret meeting about it? I will tell you why. Because the truth is so staggering that they cannot risk it becoming public. And if you ask me, that is all the confirmation we need. Senator Mark Warner's spokesperson made a vague statement about determining whether these objects pose a threat to our pilots. That is laughable. They already know these objects exist. They know they can outmaneuver any technology we have, and yet they pretend that further investigation is necessary. So, what does all of this signify? It means the government has been lying to us for years. It means they know far more than they are revealing. It means that somewhere, in some hidden lab or secret base, they possess information that could change our world. Yet they keep us in the dark. The evidence is staring us in the face, and those in power are doing everything possible to distract us. They release a few videos, throw us a bone, and hope we do not dig any deeper. But we are on to them. This was not the only instance of the Navy revealing alien encounters. You must have heard of the Tic Tac UFO incident. On November 14th, 2004, U.S. naval aviators were dispatched to intercept an object that defied all logic. This object launched like a bullet from a gun, moving at speeds and in ways that should be impossible. They dubbed it the Tic Tac because, well, it resembled one, except it was 45 feet long and could outmaneuver any aircraft in our sky. The Navy observed this object several times during November, but did they inform us then? Certainly not. The footage of the Tic Tac, captured by Navy pilots, was conveniently buried by the military. Why? Because if people saw it, they would start asking the wrong questions. A secretive investigation based in Las Vegas was required to reveal just how groundbreaking this encounter was. For 2 weeks in November, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group's highly advanced sensor systems detected these bizarre aerial visitors off the coast of Southern California. One moment they were present, the next they were gone. Finally, on November 14th, radar operators managed to lock onto one. The Tic Tac entered the view of Top Gun pilot David Fravor, commander of the Black Aces Strike Fighter Squadron 41. Fravor was sent to investigate. He has flown for years, yet nothing could have prepared him for what he encountered. To this day, his account remains unchanged. Fravor recalls, "The video was taken by a crew after us. When we returned and landed, there were 4 of us. We chased it visually, and I observed it for over 5 minutes. Fravor witnessed the object move like nothing he had ever seen. It had no wings, no rotors, no visible propulsion system, and yet it moved with speed and agility far beyond our most advanced fighter jets. Even today, Fravor and his team have no idea what they witnessed, but they are certain of one thing. It was not from this world. And as for the government, they would rather you not think too deeply about that. Now I want to change gears and take you to Antarctica. It is not merely barren ice and penguins down there. There are things hidden in Antarctica that the government does not want us to know about. Strange sightings, hidden bases, and encounters that defy reason have been reported, yet officials prefer to keep us uninformed. McMurdo Station, the largest research hub in Antarctica, has experienced its share of bizarre incidents. In 2015, a retired Navy flight engineer, known only as Brian, contacted investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe with a story that shook me deeply. "There is something about this hole that is now causing these problems," Brian stated. He spent 14 years working in Antarctica, and for most of that time, everything was business as usual, until it suddenly was not. During a mission in the Transantarctic Mountains, Brian and his crew observed multiple unidentified silvery spherical objects maneuvering around the peaks. These objects were not simply hovering aimlessly. They moved with clear purpose, darting in coordinated groups before vanishing into thin air. Now, I do not know about you, but I have never seen a weather balloon act like that. Yet that was not the most shocking part. On another mission, Brian's team was forced to fly into a classified no-fly zone due to a medical emergency. What they saw there defied comprehension: a massive, gaping entrance in the ice, at least 200 feet in diameter, leading directly down into the unknown. As they flew closer, their instruments malfunctioned. Navigation systems went haywire, compasses spun uncontrollably, and electrical failures swept across the aircraft. Then, before they could process what was happening, they were intercepted by men in suits, individuals who clearly had no business being in Antarctica. Brian believed they were from Washington, D.C., and they made one thing clear: never speak of what they witnessed, and never fly over that area again. Call me paranoid, but when the government orders someone to stay silent, it is clear they have discovered something significant. The secrecy surrounding Antarctica does not end there. Consider Admiral Richard Byrd's infamous 1946 expedition, Operation High Jump. Officially, it was a military exercise, yet Byrd's hidden diary, allegedly discovered after his death, tells a very different story. He wrote about flying over the South Pole and encountering a lush green land, escorted by disc-shaped crafts to an advanced civilization deep within the Earth. There, he met a being called the Master, who warned him about humanity's reckless use of nuclear weapons. When Byrd returned, his superiors silenced him, and his account was buried. I do not know about you, but if a decorated admiral with no history of lying is suddenly gagged, I begin to ask questions. And it is not just Byrd's story that raises doubts. Over the years, UFOs have been observed near nuclear sites across the globe, even reportedly disabling warheads at missile silos. Why are they so interested in our most destructive technology? I have a theory. Perhaps they know we are too reckless to handle weapons that could destroy not just our own planet, but much more. If extraterrestrials are watching us, Antarctica may be their secret operational base, and that means the government is in on it. In 2018, a retired Navy SEAL, known only as Spartan 1, came forward with an astounding claim. He had seen an ancient octagonal structure buried beneath the ice. The doors, he said, were 30 feet thick, yet they opened effortlessly. Inside, the temperature was a constant warm 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and glowing green symbols adorned the walls. This was not a human-made structure. It was something else, something far older and far more advanced. In fact, an entire sector in Antarctica is forbidden to unauthorized personnel. These are the Antarctic Special Protected Areas, or ASPAS. These sites are said to be designated to protect the environment under the Antarctic Treaty System, and special permits are required for access. That sounds harmless enough, right? But let's be honest. When has the government ever gone to such lengths to protect something without a hidden agenda? These zones are supported by multiple nations, including the United States, Russia, and the United Kingdom, and for reasons unknown, they are tightly restricted. If all they are hiding are a few patches of snow and some delicate ecosystems, why all the secrecy? What really unsettles me is that those who enter these areas do not return, or if they do, they remain completely silent. No leaked footage, no independent scientists coming forward. Nothing. And then there is the bizarre enforcement of these restrictions. Some claim that even approaching the border results in swift detention by heavily armed security teams. Others half-jokingly refer to specially trained security penguins guarding the perimeter. but I assure you, it is no joke. What are they hiding down there? My instincts tell me there is something beneath that ice, something ancient, something powerful, and something the world is not meant to know. I am talking about aliens, and if you need more, let me mention a few additional locations. Area 51. Officially, it is part of the U.S. Air Force's Nevada Test and Training Range, a site for testing experimental aircraft. But let's be honest, why would they deny its existence until 2013 if nothing more interesting was occurring there? For decades, locals and tourists have reported unusual aircraft flying over the desert skies near Groom Lake. Planes such as the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird were developed there, of course, but they do not explain the truly bizarre sightings. The biggest rumor I have heard is that the infamous 1947 Roswell crash, purportedly a UFO, was covered up, and its wreckage, along with alien bodies, was transported to Area 51 for study. If you are interested in learning about that crash, visit my channel because you will find plenty of information. My original followers know what I mean. So, back to Area 51. This individual, Bob Lazar, a scientist who claimed in 1989 to have worked there, insisted he was part of a project to reverse engineer alien technology at Area 51. He described flying saucers and advanced propulsion systems unlike anything on Earth. Naturally, the government dismissed his claims, just as they always do when someone gets too close to the truth. No one really knows what he is doing now, to be honest, but at least Area 51 is no longer a secret, even if it remains off limits to the public. If you try to get too close, you will encounter armed guards, surveillance drones, and enough security to make you wonder what exactly they are still hiding, and that too in plain sight. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.